Poyuz jürüp baradı, alısqa dala, tağlar qaladı tanısmağan. Terezeden körünedi jama dünya. Alğa temir tulpar, yolumuz bizdin uzarsın. Keng baytar jerim yetken körkem yürekte enim asqaqtaydı.
If you have ever wanted to experience a city that feels properly wintry without losing the comfort of a real city experience, Almaty might be one of the best surprises. We came here in winter because we were drawn to that snowy vibe, and the moment we arrived, it delivered.
Snow-covered streets, snowfall almost all the time, mountain views in the background, and a city that somehow felt cozy and dramatic at the same time. And once we started exploring, we realized this is not just a city that looks good in winter, it actually gives you a lot to do as well. So in this video, we are sharing the things we did in and around Almaty, what we genuinely enjoyed, and a few practical tips that can make your trip easier. One tip before anything else: get your eSIM before you land. Because the first few minutes after landing in a new country can either feel smooth or unnecessarily irritating. You need internet for maps, taxis, translation, hotel communication, and just basic peace of mind. And in a place like this, especially in winter, the last thing you want is to land in the cold and then start figuring out connectivity from scratch. So if you want to keep things simple, you can get your eSIM before landing. The link is given in the description above. Now coming to Almaty itself. The first thing to do here, honestly, is not to rush. This is not one of those places where you need to start running after 10 attractions on day one. A big part of Almaty in winter is the mood. Just being here feels like an experience. The snowfall changes the entire personality of the city. Ordinary roads start looking cinematic. Simple walks feel more memorable. The buildings, the trees, the parks, the streets, everything starts carrying that soft white layer that makes the whole city feel calmer and more beautiful. So one of the best things to do in Almaty in winter is simply to experience the city slowly. Walk around, take in the atmosphere. Spend time outside when the snowfall is light. Notice how the city opens up to the mountains. Step into cafes to warm up, then come back out and continue wandering. That contrast becomes part of the fun. One unexpectedly good experience for us was ice skating. It felt like one of those winter activities you try once for the vibe, but it actually turned out to be seriously enjoyable. Being out there in the cold, surrounded by that snowy atmosphere, made it feel like we were properly living the winter side of Almaty. We also really liked the Ascension Cathedral. It was a quieter experience but a very pleasant one. The structure, the colors, and the overall atmosphere made it much more memorable than we had expected. And that is what we liked about Almaty. It did not feel like a destination where only the main attractions matter. The city itself felt enjoyable. That is rare, because many places can look beautiful in pictures, but in real life they can feel tiring, inconvenient, or slightly disappointing once the novelty wears off. Almaty did not feel like that to us. It felt lived in, relaxed, and very easy to enjoy. That is why we feel this is not just a Kazakhstan video. This is also for people who want a trip that gives them a real winter atmosphere, a city they can actually enjoy, and nature that is not too far away. That combination makes Almaty very interesting, because on one side you have the comfort of the city, and on the other you have some genuinely rewarding experiences around it. And for us, one of the biggest highlights was the day trip covering Kaindy Lake, Kolsai Lake, and Charyn Canyon. This is something we would very strongly recommend because it adds a completely different dimension to your Almaty trip. The city gives you mood, this tour gives you scale. And the best part is that it does not feel repetitive. Each place has a different personality. Kaindy Lake feels the most surreal of the three. Kolsai Lake feels peaceful, scenic, and deeply satisfying. Charyn Canyon gives you that dramatic, wide-open scale. That is why we like doing all three together. You are not seeing the same kind of scenery again and again. The landscapes keep changing, the feel keeps changing, and the day feels packed in a good way. The tour we took for Kaindy, Kolsai, and Charyn Canyon was genuinely one of the best parts of our time here, and we highly recommend it. The link for that tour is also given below in the description. And if you want to follow a ready route, rather than spending hours trying to piece everything together yourself, our full itinerary is also given below. Because that is one thing we have realized about travel. Sometimes the trip becomes much more enjoyable when you reduce the planning friction. Not every traveler wants to build everything from zero. Sometimes you just want something that works. Now another thing that makes Almaty appealing is that it can work well for different kinds of travelers. Some people prefer tours because they want convenience, and that makes complete sense. But if you're someone who likes more flexibility, then a self-drive car can also be a very good idea here, because some places feel better when you're not fully tied to group timing. You can stop when you want, take your time, pause where the view feels worth it, move at your own pace. That freedom can change the feel of a trip completely. So if you're comfortable driving and you enjoy a little more independence while traveling, you can also book a self-drive car using the link in the description below. That can be a very practical way to explore some places around Almaty. For everyday convenience, places like Magnum are very useful for groceries and essentials. And for food, Kaganat is a very practical option that is loved by locals, and even vegetarians can find some options there. Kulikov Bakery is also worth a stop. And if you enjoy modern city comfort, Almaty also has some really good shopping malls. And that is what makes this destination feel so balanced. You can keep it easy, you can keep it flexible, you can make it scenic, you can make it relaxed. It does not force you into one style of travel. And that matters more than people realize, because the best trips are often not the ones with the most famous checklist. They are the ones where different parts come together well. And Almaty for us did that very nicely in winter. It had the visual beauty we were hoping for. It had that snowy atmosphere that motivated us to come in the first place. It had the comfort of a proper city, and it had nearby experiences that made the overall trip feel richer and more complete. That is what made it memorable. Not just one attraction, not just one viewpoint, but the overall feeling of being here. The feeling of stepping out into falling snow. The feeling of seeing a city wrapped in white. The feeling of warming up indoors and then heading back out again. The feeling of combining that city comfort with a day of dramatic natural landscapes. That mix worked really well for us. So if you're someone who enjoys winter travel, or even if you simply want a destination that gives you more than one kind of experience in a single trip, Almaty is genuinely worth considering. It is scenic without feeling too remote, it is comfortable without feeling boring, and in winter, it has a charm that feels very real. If you're planning a trip, do check the description. We have added the eSIM link, the tour link for Kaindy, Kolsai and Charyn Canyon that we recommend, the self-drive car booking link, and our full itinerary to make your planning easier, because sometimes the trip starts going right even before you board the flight. And if this video helped you, do like, share and subscribe, because some places do not scream for your attention, but once you experience them in the right season, they really stay with you.
We have also created some videos related to Uzbekistan, where we had incredible experiences, not only in terms of places and history, but also in terms of people and interactions. Do check out the Uzbekistan playlist too. If you enjoyed watching this video, do like it, share it with someone and subscribe for future updates.